this is going to be one of the realizations that a lot of people have, and you're not the first person I've seen to have the same realization, which is you sell something in crypto and you go, well, I don't need to put it in my bank account. And then you realize you immediately flip it into a stable coin. Within 5 minutes, you're earning yield.
The consensus among the big money in crypto is that it's that Bitcoin is taking market share from gold. That's what we talk, the Winklevoss twins. Listen, guys, here's my message. Do you know who the ripest, absolute best prospects to adopt Bitcoin are? It's gold people, because we understand the monetary system, and you're making them an enemy. Yeah. And really, I think they serve two different functions. And I'll just say this and let you talk. It's gold and Bitcoin, which you have a store of value in gold. You have Bitcoin, which is a future store of value after it gets adopted everywhere. And they together are what takes the bite out of fiat in this fucked up system we have, this beast of a system.
Yeah, look, the combo, if those are your concerns, then the combo of gold and Bitcoin is actually a nice portfolio. It's actually pretty decent. And you can sit that quietly. Gold dampens the volatility somewhat. Crypto gives you upside. Super interesting. But to talk about how it's taking market share, and it is, because I'm seeing all the family offices allocate outside of gold because of it's just storing it, moving it around. It's bloody clunky and experience in the contemporary age. And like one of my clients for Global Macro Investor is a famous, very elderly, well, in age, not in mind, Italian industrialist. And I mean, he's a gold guy. He's a gold guy. He grew up having to escape the war into Switzerland, across the border from Italy, blah, blah, blah. So he's gold guy through and through. I mean, his crypto position now for the last 2 years has been 5 times out of his gold position.
I mean, I have way more money in crypto than I do in gold. I mean, but the reality is, I think at some point, which is why they created stable coins, say you make an absolute fortune on a volatile as heck, asset, you want some of it to go into something safe. To me, gold is where the safest asset on planet Earth exists. That's my opinion, because of the way that it still has that store of value function. My contention, because it's been trading, it has seen outflows. And that's why I told people at GIL years ago, you got to pay attention to this. And then even like 2020 in that summer, we would see, even though the market was over like 20 times as big or whatever it was, over 10 trillion. And then this is when Bitcoin's coming up in the 2000s. I think it was like, I remember it, if I remember correctly, around August, where you saw gold getting like whacked and Bitcoin was flying. There was money moving and it was taking money directly. It did it for you. I know for you. So
I sold my gold because I had a bunch of gold. I saw what was coming, and gold was obviously the right thing to hold. And I sold my gold because I just looked at the Bitcoin gold chart and said, why do I own gold? That's not to devalue the value of gold in somebody's portfolio, but it wasn't right for me. I had an income.
Absolutely.
I didn't need it. What I saw was the biggest opportunity. So I'd use it to cushion, because we didn't know what the hell was going to happen in March, April, May. But then after that, I'm like, no, now's the time to go for the other opportunity. Gold served its great purpose for me, worked very well. Let's move on.
Yeah, and to me, I think the way that gold helps is more and more. So that allocation that I have in like actual physical gold, if you will, through I mentioned my biggest being through the Paxos PAXG recently, and I started allocating that. But I have different mechanisms, but that's also to protect myself from myself, as you've talked about, where the volatility in crypto is incredible. And it will, I tell people, don't look, just all rookies, pros, don't touch it. You're going to try to outtrade Bitcoin and crypto. You're going to get your head smashed on the curb. And so just don't do it. But the gold is there as a function of, and listen, I have the same in like the stable coins where I'm getting 10 points on cash, staking it.
Yeah, but we don't know what risk we're running there. I mean,
exactly.
Gold has that layer less of risk. We've got a great gold storage vault here in the Cayman Islands. It's a grade 1 storage vault, and that's And that at least there's no liability, no loan against it, no nothing. And that's gold's great thing. That's where it shines.
I think so. And it's also where, like, I know that the fiat that I'm in now, if I'm making 8 to 10 points on it and there is not too much tail risk, I hope, I don't really know, in some of these formats, you never know. So I look at it as, I spread that out in different areas and moving more and more to DeFi and things like this. But
because even if something goes wrong, let's say you've got 5 of these different yield plays and one of them goes wrong for whatever reason, so your blended return ends up being 6%. It's still
exactly
huge compared to normal, right? So even with default or something going wrong risk, if you diversify, is absolutely fine. I'm sure of it.
I mean, you tell me that, this is where this, whether it's the guys at Coinbase, Circle with USDC, Tether's got some mystery to it with certain things and possibilities, but you tell me the Circle and USDC, and then you've got the Binance and the Gemini tokens as well. Do you think these guys are doing anything funny? I don't think so. Like, they've got what they've got, and they're still able to pay, and other platforms are able to pay very, very juicy yield. I mean, I'm getting like at least 8 everywhere, and that includes BlockFi, that includes everywhere, spread out on all of those different tokens. And it's okay if one of them, like the guy in India, dies and they take all the money. I don't, whatever. I'm expecting it. And why would anybody sit with big money? I mean, you need money in a bank to facilitate and cash and all that stuff for now. But the reality is, you're getting what now? Is it even up to like 150 bips, or I don't even know. I don't even look. I don't care. It's nothing.
No, I mean, I think this is going to be one of the realizations that a lot of people have, and you're not the first person I've seen to have the same realization, which is you sell something in crypto and you go, well, I don't need to put it in my bank account. And then you realize you immediately flip it into a stable coin. Within 5 minutes, you're earning yield. And you're like, so all of that, I have to go to a middleman, I have to pay them to get access to this product, and then that, and the bank takes 3 days to clear. It's like, well, it's all nonsense. Why the hell would you even bother? And I've seen a lot of people go through this. It's like, I just paid my physical living bills using my bank account. But why bother with have your assets in a bank? I get it. Makes sense. It's amazing.
And this is the beauty and unbelievable, just the story and the genesis of Bitcoin and where this is going and what it's doing. Because I'm of the opinion, I mean, it depends on how much you want to talk out about it, but this system we have, when you're talking about fractional reserve central banking system that all the governments are running and diluting the hell out of our currencies in a silent way, almost, people that don't know about it. Look, you and I are doing fine in it, so I'm not hating on it, but I don't like it. And it's really one of these things where all the centralization, all the little locust bites of fees and this, it's what keeps like most of the world down, and they don't know what is going on. They think it's like a president who's going to change it, and it has nothing to do with it. It's a system that needs to go. And I tell people when I'm talking about Bitcoin that it's kind of like Bitcoin is the Scud missile to this system, and it's already left the water. It is well into the air. What do you think about that? And do you really believe, because everybody's like, well, they have too much control. Well, guess what? I think that they're trying to slow it, but they can't stop it.
I think of it slightly differently. I think it's a new world being built at the same time. And it doesn't need to destroy the old world, because we're all going to migrate there. And what we're seeing is that's what network adoption is a migration. You and I have just talked about, well, do we really need a bank account for most of our savings and investments? No. Okay, so you've now, 75% migrated. Okay, that's amazing, right? And you've migrated to another world that functions really well. We're still testing it, but it functions really well. So what happens is, over time, people become less reliant on the old world. And this is what people miss about the central bank digital currencies. They're actually making it easier for you to migrate to the new world. And I think that's purposeful. I've had conversations with the Department of Defense and all sorts of people. they know, they're fully aware of the risks that the leverage has within the system, the interconnectedness of the financial system. They're completely aware of it. So for this to be a way for the system not to blow up, it ends with a whimper and not a bang. Everybody, the gold community was always, it's gonna blow up one day. Well, we've learned that you disguise the blow up by printing money.
Exactly.
And the value of the denominator goes down, so it looks like your assets go up, but you actually have not got wealth.
Exactly. That's the problem. It's still fiat.
So, right? So bit by bit, people just move. And so in the end, when it all blows up, we've got a new system. So, my guess is, if we had this conversation in 5 years' time, my guess is most securities will be on the blockchain. Equities, bonds, futures, everything. So then what does that mean? It's like, well, if somebody goes bust, you know who owns what. Now, if you start putting the derivative contracts on, okay, now we've got rid of most of the issues that are going to lose your or my money from a bank account. But now we're in the crypto world anyway. The central bank digital currencies allow for this movement. So they're building over there this brand new financial system from scratch at ridiculous speed and inviting us over. It's like discovering the Americas all over again.